No, it's a feeling of freedom that swim running provides that I did not find in any other sports. And it's a connection to nature that you cannot have with the other sports. I mean, well, I think it's a magical sport.
Welcome to the Low Tide Boyz, a Swimrun podcast. I am Chip.
I'm Chris, and this is episode 48. We have a great interview this week. On this episode, we take you to the south of France to talk with Laurene William and Irina Kondratieva of Team Swimrun Mermaids and the organizers of the Mermaids Swimrun Club. This conversation was a lot of fun, and we'll talk more about that later in the show.
Yes, now to adventure time. So last week, being Thanksgiving and all, we took the week off, but we weren't totally unproductive. After several months and many, many emails from everybody sending in your user-generated swimrun routes, we're very excited, dare I say super stoked, to announce that our International Swimrun Adventure Guide is finally live. So this is a living document that we have all the states live from anyone that's sent us at least one swimrun route from that state or country. It's going to be up in the guide. So if you don't see your state or country or even city,
do something about it.
Do something about it. Send us a thing. It's on there. You'll see it. It's on the website. You'll be able to find that there. We're really excited for that to come out. Yeah,
and I guess the one little note on that is a lot of people that submitted content were totally fine with people reaching out to them if they had questions. But just to save everyone's privacy, if there is a route that you have questions about, just send us a message, and then we'll connect you with the person who shared it with us.
Now, on to our shoutouts.
Yeah, so this week we're shouting out Anders Nyberg from Sweden. He participated in the Hellas Frostbite Swim Run over the weekend, and when we commented on a Strava post, something to the effect of like awesome or whatever, his reply was pretty classic. It was, quote, a bit nippy. Yeah, I would say so. So you wouldn't catch us in that cold water, but it gave us plenty of meme ideas. And for that, we thank you, Anders.
Yes, I believe, was they saying it was either 1 water temp, -1 air temp. It was
so
for
bad.
the Americans, that's like it's freezing. The water was 30 or 33, and the air was about the same. So
it was bad.
Double wetsuits, gloves, every cold weather item.
Yeah, there were still smiling faces, but I think they were frozen.
They were frozen in place like the Joker.
Yeah.
Now for everyone's favorite segment, This Week in Swimrun, powered by RaceID.com. The Champions Christmas Challenge is in full swing. Our good friends and guests of the show, Fanny and Desiree, are hosting a 24-day challenge to get folks out and moving at least 1 kilometer per day, have fun, win prizes, and attend an exclusive virtual gala. What's not to love? The challenge started a few days ago, November 30th, so make sure you head over to RaceID.com to log your kilometers for that and participate in said challenge. There may even be some Low Tide Boyz gifts.
Yeah.
I mean, there is.
There are. There are. And you might even be featured in a meme. So, that can live in infamy. In other news, the Hellas, we just mentioned it, but the Hellas Frostbite Swim Run kicked off over the weekend, and true to his name, it looked pretty friggin' cold. You should check out their Instagram page, which we linked to in the show notes to see the photos of the event. And dare I say, gain a new appreciation for the comforts of warm water.
I turned my heater up after I saw that photo. Now for the Low Tide Boyz updates. So our last column of the year for Triathlete Magazine, the Swimrun Pull Buoy Love Story, is out now on triathlete.com and other digital newsstands. Check it out and let us know what you think. If you're looking for some last-minute holiday shopping or you need some new T-shirts and or stickers, head on over to our site. Use the code LOWTIDE to save your shipping costs. So free shipping on all orders through December 6th. And we've had a couple orders come in this week, and we're trying to get those out the door as quickly as possible so that they can get to you before the holidays if you're ordering it for somebody or whatever. But again, code LOWTIDE for free shipping on all orders for Low Tide Boyz merch.
Sweet. So let's just get into this week's interview. So it was mentioned at the start of the show, we had a great chat with Laurene and Irina from Team Swimrun Mermaids. They're based out of the south of France, near Monaco. Laurene and Irina are great ambassadors for the sport and work with their organization called Mermaids Swimrun Club to help get more women into the sport, similar to what Wild Swimrun is doing. We chatted with them about Swimrun, obviously, how they found each other, how they found the sport, why they started the Mermaids Swimrun Club, and why the south of France is such a great place for swimrunners to train and race. We also talked about their packed 2020 race season and how their mindset changed due to COVID, including setting up for races at the last minute and just racing with gratitude and having fun out there. We covered a lot of ground, and we can't wait to make a trip to France to get a tour of their training grounds. It was pretty cool. We think you'll enjoy this episode, and yeah, great having them on the show.
Mermaids.
Yeah. Even though technically, can mermaids run? Or can they just, or maybe they're the opposite. They're like swim up top and legs below.
They can run by doing inverted handstands?
Yeah, maybe
and run on your hands.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway, mythical challenges, but they're still awesome, and we really enjoyed this conversation. So I'm very excited for today's guests. We have Laurene and Irina from south of France. They're part of Team Swimrun Mermaids. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys.
So we're super stoked to have you on the show, partly because I personally love the south of France, spend a lot of time there, but also because we haven't had any French guests on the show yet. So we'd love to just start at the beginning. Like, how did you guys discover Swimrun, and how did you find each other?
I started Swimrun 2 years ago. I started swimrunning with some of my guys' friends who were triathletes. And I wanted to train with girls because I thought it was funnier and the level was different. So I asked one of my friends to introduce me to a girl. And this guy introduced me to Irina 2 years ago. So we met and we started to go swim running together. We got on well. And because we realized that there were so many girls who wanted to try swim running, but they didn't dare to because of some men's mentality, we decided to create a community that would gather ladies. And this is how it started.
Love it. So what was your first race together?
Actually, our first race together was 2 years ago. It was during the Swimrun Pull Buoy. Beaulieu is a little town next to Nice. And with Irina, we competed together and we got on well. And then I did some competition with Sarah because there's a third one. Was not able to.
A third mermaid.
Tonight, yeah, there's three mermaids.
Yeah, 3 mermaids. The main core, I would say. And with Irina, because Sarah is married and well, she's got other priorities. But with Irina, we continued competing and we enjoy it. So, Irina, I don't know if you want to say something else.
Yes, well, for me, I started Swimrun 3 years ago. And I came to Swimrun because I was doing trails and I was swimming in open water. And so the Swimrun was a perfect combination of two of these sports. So I discovered this 3 years ago, and like Laurene with guys, because it's kind of new sport. It's not so it didn't start started only 20 years ago, but in the south of France we see more and more swim runners, but it wasn't like this 3 or 2 years ago. So we know everyone who is doing swimrun here. So everyone knows now us, and it's still a little community. And so I met Laurene, and we completely loved this, woman side, that we can completely understand each other, that we're not competing with each other. We are just pushing each other to be the best to give the best of us. And as Laurene said, yes, we had a lot of friends around us who were telling us that that they are so impressed by what we are doing, but we were not doing something like wow, because like everyone who can swim, everyone who can run can do swim run. So we wanted to show them that they can do this too, and this was our first wish, and that's why we created this community to so we can, like Laurene said, that so we, like, other women can try with us, and they can see that they can do this too. So that's how it started, and we still compete with each other, like together, and we completely love it because we have the same level, so we can be. Sometimes Laurene, she goes in front. Sometimes it's me. So we always help each other during the race, and and gives us like all people who do swim run, they know that we do it together, like with someone. So it's like a team, and the joy to share this experience with someone is. Gives you so much, gives you a lot of things, like to share the sport, to share this passion. It's really cool to have someone like this next to you. So yeah.
So, Irina, you mentioned something that I've been thinking a lot about recently, since we just did this race in Texas, which was a couple of weeks ago. But you mentioned that when you're racing with Laurene, like, you're trying to get the best out of her and she's trying to get the best out of you. And that's how you have a successful partnership and a successful race. How did that sort of develop for you? Was it just kind of like automatic, or was it something as you train and race together, you sort of develop this camaraderie? Or was it sort of automatic for you and her?
I think it's not like I think it's like in your mentality. If in the beginning of the race, when we start the race together, we know that there will not be the race without your partner. So if your partner is feeling bad, if your partner wants to give up, there's no race for you too. So like during the race, we just become like, there's no more Laurene, no more Irina. It's like one person, so it just comes automatically. I think that you have to know how to like even in normal life, even in regular life, how to encourage people to go farther, like around your friends, your family. So it's just something that comes automatically, I think. Like sometimes, like we have some moments in a race when Laurene is feeling bad, but I'm feeling bad too. But she says it first. Like, I'm feeling bad. So I'm like, okay, she's feeling bad, so I can show that I'm feeling bad now,
Yeah.
So it's it's really a strong connection that we have.
That is such a great point, and I didn't even think about that, because I've definitely done that too, Irene, to where we're going and whatever partner speaks up that maybe they are maybe they need an energy station or a walk break, whoever speaks up first, the other partner has to kind of like carry the load of that for a little bit, even though they might be feeling the same way. But if Chris is like, oh, I need to take a break, or in reality, it's I need to take a break, and Chris has to hike it out or whatever for a bit. So that's a very interesting piece there. And I do want to say we both just absolutely love that the inclusion of women that you're including on the sport. And I was hoping that you can kind of like shed some light on what you think are kind of some of the big obstacles for women when it comes to joining, let's just say, a swim run practice. And if there's a majority of men there, kind of what are some, trying to empathize a little bit with you about what are some of the struggles that a woman would have coming into a new swim run practice or a new run with a new group of people?
In my opinion, I've always been very sporty, so I've never been afraid to mix with guys. And most of the time, I prefer training with guys because they're, they bring the best of you because they're stronger, so you can improve with them. But the thing is that they're not really tolerant, so they do not understand if you tell them, I'm not going to go that fast because I'm tired, or it's too long for me, or it's too And so most of them don't understand. They want to keep up their level. And they don't want to. They want to get rid of ladies, most of the time, especially when they're not that strong. For example, they accept Irina and me because we're not that bad,
You can keep up with them.
The thing is that we decided to organize those swim runs gatherings with the ladies swim runs, so that any woman is able to go swim and run, never mind their levels, despite their levels. So when we organize our events, all the levels are there. The starters, some ladies who have never tried before, some who compete like Irina and me, and we're spending a nice moment together, and we're showing that any woman can run 10 kilometers and swim 2 or 3 kilometers. So I think it's very important to give them confidence.
Yeah, I think it's great to see these pockets. I mean, obviously, Wild Swim Run is doing that in Spain and in Sweden. Swimrun Labs are doing that in the Pacific Northwest. I think it's really interesting that these communities are coming together to be like, hey, we think the sport's amazing, and we understand that there's a little bit of a barrier in terms of women feeling like, the sport is definitely 70% male or 65% male at this point. But that there is a place for them.
I was just wanted to say that it's a truth. Swimrun is quite demanding because you need when you compete, the competitions are quite difficult. It's always a long run. It's always a long swim. So you have to be strong. But if you want to become strong, you can train before, and we want to show our mates. The ladies who want to do swimrun in our area, that they are able to do to do it, and this is not what always men can teach us. So
yeah, that's really great. And I think something that really, there's no expectations of you have to swim at a certain speed or run at a certain mile per hour, kilometer per hour, that whatever your level is, you're just accepted kind of, and you can come out and have fun. You don't have to be the fastest person out there.
Exactly.
And I that's what really makes us love organizations like this and Wild Swim Run and the Swimrun Labs and everything.
These are two different things. For example, with Irina, if we're training for a race, we just go, the two of us, separately, and we do our stuff. Or I go train with the guys because I know it's going to be hard. And if I need to train hard, I'm going to go with them. But sometimes we really enjoy going with those ladies and just swim run for fun. We're not looking at our Garmin. We're just telling them we're swimming next to them. We're keeping them safe, and we're taking pictures, and we're having fun, and that's all we need. That's all that matters.
I love it. Yeah, and as far as pictures, the Instagram, the way that you were sharing the sport on social media, I love it. I think the second we started our show and we started following Europeans, like you guys were right up there and we're like, oh my God, they're doing another race. This is crazy. Have you seen this? They're doing Swimrun, man. So I love the fact that you're documenting it, because that's really the way that people are going to learn about the sport, right?
Exactly.
Now let's talk. So this year you two have raced a lot. I think probably more than most people. So why don't we go through a little bit about how your race schedule went this year and sort of how these events went.
Irina?
Yeah, well, this year, it was a really special year because of these lockdowns, because of the COVID. And so we, with the end, we didn't want to be disappointed, to train hard for one race and afterwards it will be canceled. So we just, this year it was really particular because finally we did a lot of races, but it was always like a last moment race. So we were not looking for to make the best time or the best to get the medal. We were just waiting until the last week before the race. If the race is still maintaining the race is still maintained. So we were okay, let's go. So we were taking everything that we could take, and meanwhile we were training. We did we even did a road trip to Corsica. Where we did the round of Corsica by Swimrun with a car, but we were stopping at some places and we were doing our swim runs. So we were training a lot, like if we had a race, but we just like, we were like still telling to each other that, we're not professionals. It's not our job. It's not something that we don't get money from this, so it's only our passion. So it has to stay like this. We don't have to be this important. Like we have to be, we just want to train to be able, like in case if there is something is going on, something is happening, like once swim run is maintained, so like we are ready, we can go. We don't tell to each other like, okay, we can go because we didn't swim for months, So this year we didn't have like really particular goal, like for example to go to Sweden in September, so we have to get some points, so we have to train hard because it was really particular for everyone. So we just took what we could take. But of course now we trained a lot. We had a lot of races. We saw how we deal with each other, and I think that we're a really good team together, because we really like we're always there for each other. We're always talking. During all the race, we're always talking to each other, always asking everything is okay. And we are not like we're not arguing with each other. So now we see our level. We see that we can go far if we train. So why not to go to the Sweden? Maybe not next September, because now we don't have a lot of time. All the races will start from April, March, OTLO races. So maybe we will not get time to get a lot of points to go to the world champion of swim run in September. But maybe in 2 years, who knows? Mm-hmm. So maybe it will be a plan, So yeah.
Yeah, that seems like that sounds like such a healthy approach to everything that's been happening this year, where it's like, yeah, we'll kind of be on standby, kind of ready to race if an opportunity presents itself, and make the decision at the last minute. Well, some of these decisions, like some of these races, we've been, kind of following them, like the Swimrun Man in Laughley, where the finish was up a mountain. That seemed pretty.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty
this
spectacular.
One was epic.
Vertical, yeah.
Yeah. We did this one, but it was really epic. Yeah,
it was not a good race for us because we got lost.
Oh no!
Yes, and we lost 1 hour. We lost 1 hour in the race. So it's typically the moment when someone like Laurene, she felt really bad because we lost 1 hour. We didn't take a good way. Like after 1 hour and a half, we were in a good place. Like we had a good place. We were really good. And we lost this hour, but like sometimes you have these cut-offs. So if you didn't pass this cut-off at this time, you just get out of the race, So we lost this hour, like that we had in the beginning, and it was really difficult. But something pushed us, and we just became, especially Laurene, she became like I don't know what happened with her. She swam so fast. I had to follow her, of course, because we're together. So it's like we didn't do 30 kilometers. We did like 37, instead.
Bonus,
so it was really. We were the last ones. Like we lost everyone. We were like the last ones for half an hour. We were running and swimming, but we didn't see anyone, any teams. So we were like kind of lost, like in the forest next to this lake, And finally, we finished. There were like still 18 teams that finished after us. So I think it's still a good result.
That's impressive. Yeah, if we would have been out there, we probably would have finished it around the same time. If you guys, you guys would have to get lost for an hour. That race seemed really cool, and also you did this epic blue race, which I had never heard about. But oh my goodness, like the photos were just.
Actually, it's quite famous in our area because it's not far from the Côte d'Azur where we live, and the organizer, the guy who organizes the race is a friend of ours. So we did it this year, and actually the sea was really, really rough. The waves were quite huge, and it was very hard to swim. And actually, all the women, they just gave up. So we were the last team of ladies on the race, and we won the race. So we were quite proud of that.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
That is really funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the sea did look rough, but as far as like a coastline to host a swim run, I mean, it looked pretty magical.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's like the south of France. So we were like in our element, like we were in our. It wasn't something new for us, because, for example, sometimes like people they train, for example, next to Paris for swim runs. Well, maybe not like next to Paris, but somewhere where they don't have trails, like where everything is flat. They don't have to go up, and it's really hard for them to change the area. For us, it was okay because it's exactly like here in the south of France.
Yeah, you had the home field advantage that if it's all your backyard trails or your kind of your local trails, such an advantage there.
Yeah, well, this one it was really nice. Well, we really had fun on this one. We just it was a pleasure from the beginning until the end. And even the sea, I mean, well, Laurene, she says that, but I mean, like even when we train together, just for two of us, we go in the sea. Remember, Laurene, the waves when everyone was like looking at us and asked, like, "Are you going to the sea?" And we're like, "Yes, we'll go. We'll go for a swim."
We're just waiting to see. Okay, who's gonna brave this? All right, we'll go. I love it.
How is the swim run scene there and the community down there in the south of France? Is it kind of just starting up, or have you built quite a bit of a community down there this year?
Actually, there are two main communities. The first one is called Swimrun Côte d'Azur. The manager of the community is from Beaulieu. This is where the race takes place. And so they mainly train around Beaulieu. It's a little town 5 kilometers from Nice. And then there's the second community, which is called Swimrun de Riviera. And they are based in Nice, and it's also one of our friends. Actually, we all know them.
Yeah.
And so these are the two main communities. And now there's our community, the Swimrun Mermaids. And we're becoming quite famous because, we try to promote friendship and womanhood,
Sure.
I'm really curious, kind of the women that you see at if you're hosting a weekend swim run kind of training or adventure there. If somebody is first coming to swim run, what is their background? Are they were athletic in the past and they're trying to get back into it, or they have no athletic or endurance background and they just want something that is a fun adventure to be in nature? Kind of what's the calling of these type of people?
Actually, they're all from different backgrounds. You've got mothers, 40, 50-year-old mothers who want to do something else than cooking or looking after their kids. There are sporty ladies, sporty girls like Irina and me. There are also some very, very sporty girls who already do triathlons or competitions in swim running. All different kinds of backgrounds and all different ages. So that's cool.
Nice.
But what we want to promote, first of all, when we do our when we gather together, it's that the swim run. It's a sport that you practice with it in a team. So it looks like this, It looks like we just say, okay, we'll meet this day at that time, and everyone who wants comes. No, it's not like this at all, because all people who tell us, we create an event, people have to tell us what are their time when they run 10 kilometers, what are their time for 1 kilometer of swim. Do they have the pull buoy? Do they have all the things that we need for the swim run? So they answered all the questions and they send us this Google form, and we create the teams basing on their levels. For example,
like matchmaking.
So when someone tells us I run 10 kilometers in 1 hour, 10 minutes, and someone else but I swim 1 kilometer in 15 minutes, and someone else who is not so good in running or not so good in swimming, but not better in running, we put them together. Someone who doesn't have an experience in swim run and who comes for the first time, we put this person with someone, we create teams. So before the swim run, they receive the email with the start list where they have the name of their team, with who they will stay, you know. So we always we want to promote that swim run. It's not like you don't do it by yourself. You do it in a team, and there's your teammates, and you always have to be like with this person. And we also, like with Laurene, we practice sport for a couple of years now. So we have a lot of things, you know, like some pool buoys that we can borrow them.
Yeah.
Some even swimsuits that we can, wetsuits that we can also borrow. You know, like we just tell them if you don't have it, we can borrow it for the event. So we don't just call people like this, okay, come and see what you can do. You know? We are here like before the event. We have a briefing. We show like there is always a team which goes first, always the team which is in the middle, the team which is in the end, and then like when after each swim we wait for each other. So like everyone who finished the swim, they went out of the water, and we are waiting for everyone to come out of the water, and only at this moment we start to run. So we always stay together.
I love it.
And that's why they like it. They see that there's no pressure. Like, I mean, like they're not feeling alone, you know, they're not feeling that someone like, you know, like we don't care about them, you know. So, and they discover that you can count on someone, you know, in the sport. You're not alone. You can count on your mate. Yeah.
That's so great. And that translate, and I think it's one of the only sports is that where that translates into the race as well, kind of, is that, you know, if there's a hard swim exit or swim entrance, you're turning around and giving a helping hand to the person behind you, if they're your teammate or if they're not, just because that's kind of the swim run thing to do. And I'm sure it sounds like that's happening in France as well. So that's great to hear that these really pillars of what makes swim run so amazing are still present internationally.
Yeah, precisely. That's the spirit of our community. I mean, we want to promote tolerance as well, and mainly having fun without any pressure of performance or anything like this, you know. So, and at the end of our swimrun events, we always have a picnic on the beach, and it's a moment of friendship that between mermaids.
Yeah. That's great. And then you hit it off with your partner, or you find a new one, or you just mingle around with folks. I think that is, again, kind of what makes it.
Well, actually, Irina, she handles everything, but she generally puts a strong swim runner with a weaker one.
Okay, get a little training during the race or during the event.
Well, and also just get the experience, because I feel like in swim run, I mean, we've definitely noticed it, like the experience gap from doing one race to doing even 5 races is so big. Like you just learn so much more.
Learning curve, yeah.
And you know, none of the stuff needs to be a secret. So, I mean, a lot of the things we do on our show is try to tell people what these secrets are so they can not make the same mistakes that we made or whatever. But yeah, I think that's a really cool way of kind of helping people along, so they do have a positive experience because they have someone they can ask questions of. There's no pressure, and you really get to learn.
Yeah, exactly. In our group, we have a group on Messenger also.
Cool.
Sometimes a girl writes, I would like to buy a new wetsuit. What do you recommend? Or do you sell any pool buoys? Because I know you love pool buoys.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we do. Guilty.
And so, yes, we give advice to each other if they're need. And, well, you know, as you said, it's important to take advantage of the people's experience. So,
yeah. Nice. I mean, that sounds like an ideal setup. If you have already got your partner matched with you, you got your equipment figured out, you just show up and get ready to have some fun and spend an hour or two kind of just being out in the south of France. It seems like there was worse ways to spend a weekend.
Oh, yeah. No, we are aware that we're living in a great area. I mean, this morning, I know Irina, she went swimming. I went swimming too in Monaco. I mean, and we're living in a dream place for swim running.
Yeah, well.
Especially in the summertime. Like, for example, I remember before before practicing swim run. Every time when I wanted to run, it was so hot that I had to run like either like at 6 o'clock in the morning, either like at 10 p.m.
Wow.
And with the swim run, which is so cool that you can run like even at like 11 a.m., like when the sun is like shining and it's so hot. Because when you just get too hot, you just go to swim. And when you don't want to swim anymore, you just go for a run,
Yeah, it's the greatest thing in the world. Swim run is the great. I mean, I'm biased, but it's the greatest thing in the world. Just amphibious trail running. Just go wherever you want. It's great.
No, it's a feeling of freedom that swim running provides that I did not find in any other sport. So, and it's a connection to nature that you cannot have with the other sports. I mean, well, I think it's a magical sport.
We agree.
Yeah, like for example, here in Nice, we have this. We are almost doing the same run, like the same track, for the swim run. And there's one road. When you go until the end of the road, there's no more road, so you have to take the stairs to go up, to work on the like another road, and afterwards to go down next to the sea. And like that's what the first time when I went over there, and I was like, no, I don't need any roads, I don't need any bridges, I just can jump into the water and swim these 500 meters and just I make my own road. It's like philosophy of life.
It's like such a freeing experience, because it sounds like your mindset, Irene, is totally adjusted. Because I think, I'm even thinking when I run on a trail, if it ends or there's a fence there or whatever, it's like, oh, I got to go a different way. I got to turn around. But if you're like a swim runner, you're thinking more in that mindset. It's like, well, let me just make a new way. If it's not there, just make it yourself kind of thing. Which I think is pretty.
Exactly. No boundaries.
No boundaries.
No boundaries. Yeah, absolutely. So the Mermaid, are they camps, swimrun camps, or how are you kind of calling them? Just weekend adventures? How many are throughout the year?
Well, the thing is that we started doing them a little bit before the COVID. So the first one we did was I don't remember, Irina, but it was
after COVID. After COVID, we did this.
Yes, we started in June, I think, the first one. And, we had quite a lot. We had more people than we expected, actually. Then we did a first one in August. Second one, in August. And we had also a lot of people. It was at the Cap d'Antibes, it's a really nice place to swim run too. It's near Cannes, actually. And we had scheduled a third one in October, but the weather was not fine. But we had already gathered 30 people, which the other communities, the other swimrun communities, do not gather as many people as we were able to. So we were quite proud of us.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's very impressive. I'm not even sure I have 30 people I can even ask to do a swim run, let alone that would actually show up.
But we actually, for the third one, we how do you say it? We wanted men to participate, and there were quite a few men taking part to the event, so it was fun. But we had to reschedule it because the weather was not nice, and for beginner swimmers, it was not safe. So
yeah, that's probably a good call on that one there.
And then the COVID started again, so we were not able to program any event.
Yeah, the lockdown.
And I was asking Irina this afternoon if we could program another one, but she was right. I mean, in France, we're not allowed to gather more. I think it's more.
Yeah, we just had the lockdown, and it's until today. From today we still have a lockdown, but we can go to make some before we could go to make some sports, but only individually, without anyone, only by yourself, but only 1 kilometer from your home. So now from today we can go 20 kilometers from your home and for 3 hours and not 1 hour anymore, but you still have to be by yourself. And as a community we can't create an event. Put it on the Facebook, say okay, we gather people, we don't care. I mean, even if we had this lockdown, everyone went to swim and people went to run, everyone did this. But we cannot do it like organize this, like, because it will be really like we don't care about anyone. So
Yeah.
we have to wait a little bit until the 20th of December now.
Okay.
And afterwards we will see, because afterwards it will be Christmas time. So we will start again in January, I think. And I think that we will have less people because now it's quite cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's like even the water, it's like now it's 16 degrees, but for a lot of people it's still cold because they're not used to it. So maybe we will not have so much people, but it's not our goal. Our goal is to share our passion, to tell people, okay, we give you this possibility to come once per month, to share this moment with us. Who wants to come? Who doesn't want to come will come another time. So, but we want to keep this, to organize one event per month. We want to be able to still keep this
space,
timing.
Yeah, and keep it all safe. And when it's safe to do so, it sounds like these events will return. If somebody's interested in attending one of these, where would they go to kind of find out about this?
Well, we are advertising on the social networks, Instagram and on Facebook. And so we are always scheduling our events maybe 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance. And
and
so if people are following us on Instagram and Facebook, they will see our posters promoting our event. I really hope we'll be able to organize a Christmas swim run. That would be cool.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be cool. And just for everyone following along at home, it's Mermaids with an S Swimrun Club on Instagram.
Yes.
And we'll put all that in the show notes.
Yes, Mermaids Swimrun Club.
Love
it. Awesome. Well, it's been really great chatting with you too. Is there any last minute things you need to tell us about the Mermaids Swimrun Club, or we covered it all? I mean, Chris is going to tell me that now this is on the bucket list for us. We have a joint partner, Swimrun partner bucket list.
If you're ever coming to the south of France, we will welcome you, and we will take you for a swim run with pleasure. That's for sure.
Well,
we better get in shape.
I never need more than a passive invitation to go to the south of France, but now that I have an active one, definitely.
No problem. We will take you.
Yes, of course, you're more than welcome.
Oh, I love it.
You can always come.
Yes.
And maybe
I accept.
I love America, so I would love swim running.
Yeah,
in
we'll
America.
come too. Yeah.
Hey, well.
If you're ever in San Francisco,
plenty of stuff to do swim run wise here in the States on all different coasts. So
I bet
we'll be happy to host and show you the ropes over here in the Bay Area. But it's been really great chatting with you too, and hearing about the Mermaids Swimrun Club and how you're helping women get into the sport of swim run and just making it a more inclusive and a more friendly sport. So genuine thanks from us.
Well, thank you for asking us, for proposing the podcast. And the last thing I would like to say is that we would like to expand our community, and we are going to try and have our logo on t-shirts and caps and bibs. Okay. And we'd like to have some sponsors also.
Love it.
So this is our next step.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
sounds good.
And you are most welcome to come to visit us. Don't forget.
Thank you. Thank you. I definitely won't forget that. I love the south of France. So
as soon as you can
chance I get,
fly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Totally. As soon as we're allowed to go anywhere.
Exactly.
Well, again, thanks again, and have a great evening.
Thank you to you too. Thank you, guys. It was nice to meet you. And this is one example of that shows me that the social network can have a beneficial effect.
Yes, it can.
Thank you for listening to the Low Tide Boyz, a Swimrun podcast.
And for
make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review on iTunes if you're so inclined.
You can also sign up for our newsletter at lowtideboyz.com. That's boys with a Z. And check out our meme page at The Low Tide Boyz on Instagram. If you have any questions or suggestions for the show, drop us an email at lowtideboys@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Writing Easy Records for our show music, and of course our wives for their support and tolerance of our swimrun activities, hobbies, and other bullshit we do.
Finally, you can support our efforts on Patreon. Until next time, get out there and go for a swim.
And then a run.
And then another swim.
Then another run.
And then another swim.
And then run to the finish line. And just keep going until you're done.
Yes, or
until
run
you
to
cross the finish line.
Or run to the car.
Or run to your car.
Somewhere. Just keep running.
Peace.